Howdy, howdy, people. I am just setting up the last of things because I was an idiot and waited until the very last minute to stop playing games and start doing live streams. So I hope you're all good. Oh, we already have 4 people in here. That's crazy. I think that's like the most that people have joined on these members in terms of like speed wise. So that's awesome. Ignore my washing that's hanging up there. A couple of things to sort of get into before we officially start this live stream and start answering questions. Obviously, I have to wait for people to actually ask questions first. But I was having like a little thunk earlier, a little think. On my Instagram, I have been doing more content recently that hasn't been specifically manifestation wise, in a sense of like sort of more self-improvement stuff, some fitness stuff, yada yada yada. So I'm thinking about adjusting my Instagram and TikTok to be more overall life improvements and stuff, as opposed to specifically manifestation. Not really like it's going to affect anything. I'm still going to be doing manifestation content and stuff. That was more just like a public service announcement, so to speak. Obviously there's plenty more presentation videos coming up. I'm just waiting for sort of more comments and stuff to come in, more people to join. There's plenty more presentation videos coming up, but it'd be really helpful if in the comments of this video, both the people watching, but also the people watching it post, or the people in it currently and the people watching it post, if you could give me some ideas on what sort of things you'd want to see in the presentation format, bearing in mind that some topics like, you know, what's a good affirmation probably isn't in depth enough to really make a presentation on. So kind of considering what would actually be an in-depth topic that you want answered. And the final thing, I do have that assistance service, which a lot of people have been really excited about, have found like really good help with it and stuff like that. So if you're interested in me assisting you with your manifestation on the membership app, now you don't have to be a member to grab it, but it is cheaper for members. There is the assistance service, and I'd recommend you check that out. I do it for I do it for as long as you need me to do it, so to speak. And the people that have currently used it have made it, have said that it's been really helpful. So with that out of the way, I'm going to start trying to answer some questions, assuming more come in. So Mike says, hey, hope you're well, mate. Yes, I'm actually very good. Thank you very much. I hope you're well as well. It's been a bit of a busy day due to obviously the kids and stuff like that. We didn't do like a proper Valentine's Day on Valentine's Day. We had like some at home stuff because obviously we had them, but they aren't with us tonight. They're staying somewhere else. And we thought we'd use today to make up for like the Valentine's Day. So we've had the entire day being out doing activities and sort of just stuff like that. So it's been a very full on kind of day. And then just now I found myself getting stressed in Mortal Kombat because people are tier whores. But yeah, so overall, good day, can't complain. And hopefully it's been a good day for you as well. But while we wait for more people to join, I think I'm going to just, here's another thing, question, comment. Shauna says, hi, have you manifested a car? Oh, that's so sweet. I personally haven't manifested a car, no. I've never really even attempted to, it's just not been something on my radar. However, I did actively manifest passing both my theory and my practical tests. Now, my theory, not so like much of a shock, you know, it's theory, it's just learning stuff, it's super easy. But my practical, I was very much cucked out of. The first instructor that I had, she was a trainee, which is what it is kind of thing. But I could definitely tell that she was a trainee, and I was trying my best to pick it up and trying to like, you know, learn everything I could, but I just wasn't getting the hang of everything. My test was booked for, it was originally booked for March, but we got it moved, but it was booked for May in the end. I'm pretty sure was when my second test was, or the moved date of my first test. And I started my lessons in, I think, November. So obviously I didn't have too long to learn to drive anyway, so that's kind of going against me in that factor. But I was also working with a trainee, which really wasn't handy. And then I think it was around about maybe January, late December, early January, the instructor lady basically said something to do with her exams had gone wrong, or she missed a date of her exam or something. So she was no longer able to take money for driving lessons. And therefore, obviously, she was like, so, you know, I'm not going to be doing you any more lessons. Which, you know, I was just like, well, whatever kind of thing. But I had to find another way around it. Bearing in mind, at this point in time, I was not confident in driving whatsoever. My test was only a couple of months away. It must have been later than that, actually, because I only had about 2 months with my new instructor. I can't remember the dates exactly, but basically I went to a new instructor, and one of the first things that he said to me once on our first lesson was to basically throw everything that other person had told me out the window and start again, essentially. And therefore I spent about 2 and a bit months under his instructing, pretty much learning everything from scratch besides, you know, start the car and how to make it move and sort of general things. And it came to my test, and even he said, look, I'm not 100% sure you're going to pass it. I still think you should take the test anyway because there's still a slim chance, but I'm not like confident that you're going to come away with a pass. And I was like, I'll take it anyway, because what harm's it going to do? But the entirety of the night leading into like the night before my test, I literally fell asleep affirming to myself, I'm so happy I passed my test. I'm so happy I passed my test, over and over and over again. And it came to test day and I ended up passing, despite the fact that I was absolutely cut out of the lessons. Even my new instructor didn't think I was going to pass and stuff like that. And I've never had a problem since. So besides once I reversed into a pole, but that wasn't my fault. It was. But yeah, I never had any problems since, so it clearly worked. But as for a car itself, no, I haven't. And you say that, oh, that's so sweet, and thank you very much. I do try to make up for those kind of instances, because obviously it's hard on both of us having the kids and not being able to sort of do what we would want to do all the time. So I do try to make up for it by making sure that when we do have the time, we make up for it, kind of thing. Thinking about booking a new holiday soon. I had one of those thoughts earlier where it's kind of like just going out and just feeling hot air, and I was like, I missed that. So I'm going to probably look into booking a new holiday soon. But yeah, while I wait for more comments, I will try and think of other things to sort of say to keep people entertained. But R says, hey, it's Rajo. I appreciate you. Thank you very much, Rajo. Glad to have you here. It's nice to see you on this live stream today. I appreciate you also. I appreciate all of you, everyone that supports the membership, especially as well, because obviously it's a paid thing. It means a lot. And everyone that's here watching these live streams posting, obviously I appreciate you all as well. You've all helped me get to where I am today, so I couldn't be more appreciative of everyone. So thank you very much. But there was going to be something I was going to say as well. I can't remember. If I think of it, I'll say it. But we have a lot of people that should hopefully be joining today's live stream, because the amount of members that are on the gold membership is quite high now. So definitely a lot more capability for people to join. But obviously there's the element of time limits and time zones and stuff like that. So we'll have to see. But hopefully there's some questions coming in today so I can answer them. And if not, then obviously I'll jump off early and leave you guys the rest of your days if we don't end up having too many questions. The usual question askers aren't here today, or aren't here at this current moment. So I'm sure once they drop in, that's when all the questions will flood in. Try to think of things to say now that I'm on the spot. I'm not sure what to say. Shauna says, have you read Seth Speaks by Jane Roberts? I can't say I have. I can't even say that I've heard of it. If you could let me know what it's about, I might give it a go, have a little look at it. What have I got here that I could sort of advertise to you people as things that I would recommend you reading? So this book I recommend you all reading, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, absolute monster of a human. Oh, hopefully I didn't break anything. This book by Robert Greene, The 48 Laws of Power. Again, another monstrous human, but in a different way. Of course, Psycho 7X by Dr. Maltz, which I've spoken about in the past. I'd recommend you all watch that. You all read that, because it's to do with the subconscious mind. What Everybody Is Saying by Joe Navarro. I'd recommend you watch that. It's all about body language. Really important thing. Really important book. There's any other books? Oh, I don't know where the rest are. But I'd recommend every single one of these, and I'd especially recommend. What's it called? Let me have a look. See what it's called. Oh, look, it's such a twat. Watch Why I Look Like a Twat. I recommend you should read my book, 5 Tips to Become a Master Manifestor and Win at Life. I forgot the name of my own ebook then. I recommend you should read that though, because it's really good. Laura, new comment. Lauren says, hi, firstly, congratulations on the baby. Thank you very much. And then says, hope you're all doing well. I am doing well. I hope you're doing well as well. And it seems like everybody else here is doing well too. I have a question. I want me and my partner to live together. We used to explore when our baby was 6 weeks old. So living together, getting a... is there more? Oh, no, it's a different person. So living together, getting a relationship, getting a text, getting a new house, getting anything is the same as anything else in terms of how you go about it. So if you want to be living with your person, your aim, we are back together, but I feel like I've been manifesting forever for living together. Okay, so if you feel like that, that's because your awareness is being placed on the wrong place, and that's obviously why you won't be getting results. When it comes to manifestation, while it may seem counterintuitive to how we generally live life and might seem a bit odd, as a manifester, your role is to place your awareness as dominantly as you possibly can. Obviously, doesn't have to be perfect, because if it was perfect, no one would ever manifest anything. But place your focus as dominantly as you can on the position of having what it is that you desire to have. So in this case, living together. Try and place your awareness on the idea of living together. Show your mind that story, affirm that story, visualize that story, think from the end result of having that story. Whatever method you like to go for manifesting, you want to reside within that as dominantly as possible. If you feel like you've been manifesting it forever, then obviously clearly your awareness is being placed on the idea that you don't currently have that outcome. And as a result, that's what's keeping you there. So if you're ever in a situation where you notice your mind focusing on the wrong aspects, the fact that you're together but not living together, how long it's been since you've been trying to manifest living together, those kinds of things, then of course you're placing your awareness on not having and aiding in that outcome. Whereas if you can become aware that you feel that way or you're thinking that way, catch it and say, you know what am I even thinking about? What am I concerned about? We're already living together. He's going to be home any minute, or I'm going to be home any minute, and see him waiting for me there, or something like that. Then you're aiding yourself in going into that new story. And then you say, I find it hard when we are passing over our daughter when reality hits and he leaves the house with her. So the thing is, and this is something that I think a lot of people need to remember when it comes to manifestation, and this is actually kind of the topic of yesterday's video as well, is what happens in the 3D doesn't have to be what your mind becomes aware of. Yes, you've handed over your daughter and she goes away, but that doesn't have to be told to yourself as a bad thing, as in we're sharing custody. That could be told to yourself, just as an example, he's leaving to take it to the park. They'll be home soon. Again, just an example, and obviously you can do what makes you feel more comfortable, but that doesn't show your subconscious mind that they don't live with you. That doesn't show your subconscious mind that there's any form of separation. That just shows your subconscious mind that the father of your child is taking the child somewhere and they will be home soon. If you can kind of get yourself into the habit of seeing situations in this more positive light, no, he's not leaving to have his side of custody, but instead leaving to take her to the park, or to take her shopping, or to do insert whatever it is that you feel more comfortable saying or thinking. And you can get into the habit of doing this kind of action. Eventually it will become habitual and it will become natural for you to just immediately go to something more desirable. But additionally, you'll be feeding your subconscious mind a more desired story, which will create that more desired outcome. Yes, I can understand why it would be hard in the moment, if you're looking at it as in, it's hard for me to manifest a change because I can see him taking my daughter away to go to his house. Of course, I can see why that would be hard. So why not try to create a new meaning from it? Why not try to create a new outcome from it? Even if it's just fleeting. They'll be back soon. They're just going to the park, feel a bit better, go off on your day and don't think about it. That in and of itself is still aiding towards that manifestation, like power, creation, whatever you want to call it. And if you can get into the habit of doing that, you'll start doing it without even realizing that you're doing it. I do the same with money now. If anything ever costs anything, I'll just literally say to myself, pennies, or, it's pennies. It's just money. It'll be back anyway. Stuff like that. It's quite rare now that I have things when I genuinely actually look at it and think, that is too expensive. And if I do, I try my best to not go down that route of thinking like, oh yeah, I'll never be able to afford that, and so on and so forth. So if you can get into the habit of just making a positive meaning out of anything that's in front of you, then great. If you're already back together, then that's half the battle. You don't even have to pretend to yourself that he's not going to be home, so to speak, because you guys are on good terms. Hang on. That's not quite what I meant. You don't have to pretend to yourself that it's like some sort of awful separation. You're trying to battle through that element. If he's already your partner, you're already halfway there. Now it's just getting the idea of him coming home. Hopefully that last bit made sense. I used the wrong word in. Let me just put my laptop on charge so it doesn't die, because if my laptop dies, it cuts the stream off, and then I don't know, just irritates me, because then I have to set everything back up again and start a whole new stream and stuff like that. So there you go. Shauna says the eternal validity of the soul is the actual name. I have read your book, lol. Is that in relation to the Seth Speaks by Jane Roberts? And then you say that the actual name is the eternal validity of the soul. I still haven't heard of that. If you could let me in on what that is a little bit, I should be interested to see. And then you say, I have read your book, lol. Well, thank you very much for reading it. I was advertising it to anyone that would listen, but I'm glad you read it. Says, I've heard about Seth Speaks book a number of times. I was thinking about picking it up. I'm currently going through The Expectation Effect by David Robson. One of the things I wanted to work on was manifesting money. I've just been robotically affirming a money magnet. I can't say I've even heard of the expectation effect by Robert Robson. The thing is with books is there are so many out there that it kind of gets to a point, in my opinion, and obviously you guys are more than welcome to voice yours. But once you've kind of read something about something, most of the books in that field tend to be of the same thing or speak the same words. It's like, I mean, for example, here I've got the David Goggins one, and I've got the How to Win Friends and Influence People, and then I have the body language one, because they're all ways to improve someone from a different perspective. One's body language and how you carry yourself, one's mindset, the other one's how you conduct yourself with people. So they all teach different things. But if I was to get like a different sort of book on a different book on body language, it's just going to say the same stuff as the other one. So because I've read stuff like, obviously at the moment I'm trying to do the Neville Goddard books for that content piece that I was working on, but I've read stuff like the Florence Scovel Shin things. I've read The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. Now that I've read them and they all pretty much just repeat each other, I tend to stay out of books in this field because it's just a waste of time, in my opinion, to read more of the same stuff. But which is why I haven't heard of any of these. But if any of them are sort of presenting topics or concepts that are like quite different to other books, then by all means let me know and I'll give them a go. And the part about you've been affirming that you're a money magnet, well, that's a good affirmation for sure. I mean, it's definitely good to affirm those things, but you obviously want to be holding that kind of awareness as well. Very similar to the example that I gave a second ago when I was answering Lauren's question. Is if I have something that is too expensive for me or any kind of cost, I'll try and just tell myself, you know what, pennies. And then if it is genuinely something that I can't afford, I'll try to tell myself I'm not getting it, not because I don't have the money for it, but for some other reason. Like one of the things that I like to do, because obviously because I work for myself, I essentially pay myself with the profits and stuff, is if there's something that expensive that I want to buy, instead of saying I can't afford it, I'll try to say something more along the lines of I'll get it when I pay myself. Not coming from a negative abundance mindset, I'm just saying when I pay myself I'll get it. If you can try and get into the habit of looking at things from that new perspective of either A, I already have the money for it, I'm just choosing not to buy it, or B, you know what, I could get it whenever I wanted. That will help you a lot, in addition to the affirmations as well. Okay, so I read that one. Shauna says, I'm currently reading. It's eye-opening. Never heard of the one you said. Lauren says, yes, that makes sense. Totally. Thank you very much. You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. Shauna says, I robotically affirmed for at least a week and had a wonderful day, then slim to nothing. Keep going, I suppose. Obviously, I can see that it's disheartening if you've been doing work for a length of time, and then even if you start getting some movement and then it kind of all falls away, then I can understand it's disheartening. But it's one of those things where it doesn't benefit you to be disheartened when you're trying to manifest. Again, very similar to the topic of the video that I said yesterday. If I have a day where I don't get clients, I could let it bum me out because I'm like, oh, that's an entire day that I've worked and not made any money. But I don't choose to. I choose to think like, oh, you know, I'll get clients later, or I'll get clients tomorrow, or I'll get more. The next client that I'll get will be such a big payout that it will make up for today, or things like that. There's never ever a benefit to letting yourself ever actually become overly aware of the negative in a negative sense. If you're going to become aware of the negative but turn it into a positive, like I said a second ago, I'll get another client later, or the next client that I'll get will outweigh the amount that I didn't make today. You're benefiting yourself in the long run. But there's never ever a benefit to holding your awareness on something that doesn't align with your end result, because all you're doing is just keeping yourself stuck there. Becoming aware that it's slim to nothing and letting that be where your mind ends is never a bonus. It's not what comes up that matters, it's where you take it. And you should be very considerate of where you do take these stories, because that's what really does make a difference in your manifestation. It's all well and good doing the affirmations and stuff like that, but affirming, I'm not going to say it's only half the battle, because it's not like you need to necessarily do extra stuff on top of affirming, but affirming is just thinking, but in a structured way. So if you're affirming, but then the rest of the day you're thinking like crap, and I'm not saying this is what you're doing now, I'm just sort of speaking in general. If you're affirming and then the rest of the day thinking like crap, it's, you can't really sit there and say like, oh, but I've been affirming for this long and still not had anything, because affirming is just thinking. And if you've been still dominantly thinking like crap, you're still going to get like crap outcomes. So we want to make sure that our awareness is always placed on what we want as much as possible, whether it's through robotic affirmations, whether it's through anything, whatever method it is that you're doing. You want to just make sure that everything that you're doing is in conjunction with the end result at all times, or at least as much as you possibly can. And R says, great thoughts. I'm not entirely sure what part that is in relation to, but if it's in relation to anything I said, thank you very much. If it's relation to anything someone else said, then I would probably agree. But yeah, manifestation is a very interesting topic. And I think the thing that a lot of people need to try to remind themselves, and it's not the easiest thing to remind yourself if you've either A, not had that big success yet, or B, kind of still new to it, is the more natural that you can make it and the more habitual you can make it, the easier manifestation is. Like, for example, the money thing that I mentioned where I tried to tell myself, it's pennies. I've been doing that a lot more lately just because I'm trying to get into the habit even more so to naturally do it. And this month has been probably one of the best months financially for a very long time because I'm still affirming. I'm just doing it in a more natural sense. Instead of sitting there saying, I have loads of money, I am a money magnet, money comes to me and stuff like that. I'm taking real world situations and reaffirming a positive outcome. And I don't even necessarily realize that I'm doing it. And that kind of makes it like a win-win because I'm still affirming a positive and it's not feeling like a strenuous task. Karen Lopez says, for being debt free, what could be a good affirmation? So I would say something like, I am debt free, or I'm clear of all debts, or I have more money to pay for my needs, because to me, that implies that you've got more money to cover the debts or to pay off the debt. Things like that. General money abundance affirmations can be really good. Things like that. Debt's still something that I'm getting myself out of as well. It's been a bit of a slow grind, and it's probably something that I shouldn't repeat, but for the purposes of full disclosure, you guys, I have this like idea that every time I get close to paying off the debt, something else comes up, and that's exactly what's happened. We a couple of months ago we went to go get family photos done, and we were going to get it on a payment plan just for ease, because obviously payment plan is just easy, paid off small amounts over the course of time. But due to my line of work, because obviously I'm self-employed and stuff, there, because my credit score is quite good, but I don't know why, but we got denied the credit to do it, so I had to pay for it there and then, and it was a couple of £1,000, and it was one of those things where it's like, well, there's that story coming up again, but something I need to work on. But yeah, those kind of affirmations are really good for debt and general money abundance as well. I would recommend, not recommend as in like you shouldn't, but I would say if you focus more on just having sheer financial abundance, you can do whatever you want with that then, and that'll help clear you off the debt as well as keep bringing in financial abundance anyway. For me personally, I don't ever do affirmations for debt specifically. I do affirmations for more money abundance, and I use that additional money to pay off the debt as well as have more for myself as well. Shauna says, oh, definitely. It's funny because even though my awareness is on slim to nothing, I have soft thoughts like in the back of my mind asking, why couldn't it be this way, or that isn't true? Why can't it be that? Or that isn't true. You have soft thought, because even though my awareness is on slim to nothing, I have soft thoughts like in the back of my mind asking, why couldn't it be this way, or that isn't true? The why couldn't it be this way, that part's confusing me a little bit, but if you're having thoughts about, oh, that isn't true, then obviously that's a positive. It's going to align with your end result, because in your end result, if you weren't having slim to nothing in your end result, you wouldn't be having slim to nothing, therefore it wouldn't be true for you. So I would say that that's definitely a good thought to have. But the why couldn't it be this way, I'm thrown off a little bit on that part, but just do what you can, just do, chip away at it one bit at a time. I don't think anybody in the world is ever going to just straight up change their mindset regarding a desire overnight. It's a process. You want to keep working at it day by day. You want to make it a habit, because obviously habits become natural, and then if it's natural, you don't even realize you're doing it, which is often why people feel they're doing so well but then don't get what they want, because they're so used to thinking negatively that it's become habitual, so they're not even aware that they're doing it, and then obviously so on and so forth from there. Shauna says, sorry, my talking like in a good way, end result texting. That's throwing me off even more. Sorry, Shauna. Oh, definitely. It's funny because even though my awareness is on slim to nothing, I have soft thoughts like in the back of my mind, like asking, why can it be this way, or that isn't true? Sorry, my talking. Are you, sorry, I'm really thrown off. I'm so confused by what you're. I think what you're saying is, I don't know. I don't know. I'm very confused. Apologies. But yeah, it's all a process. It's all a process of essentially trial and error and just finding what works for you. I've kind of got myself to a point now where most things, bar like a very small amount of things don't even phase me. And even those small things, it's more of like a constant build up over and over and over again. And then I'm like, Grr. But you know, it is what it is. And Sean says, dang it. Yeah, sorry, it's probably me just being stupid, but I can figure out what it was that you're I can figure out the first part about like having the awareness on the slim to nothing, and then you have soft thoughts in the back of your head, like, oh, that isn't true. I can figure out that part, but it's the other part that I'm thrown off on. And just wait a few minutes, see if there's any other questions or anything. Boom bap doop da ba boom bap booyah ba boom bap ba ba da ba da boom bap. I got a pull-up bar put in the garden today against the wall. And it's supposed to have a boxing bag attached to it as well, but the chains make the boxing bag hang too low, so I'm gonna have to get new chains for it, which is kind of a pain in the ass, but it is what it is. I'll give it 5 minutes, and if we haven't really had like much more engagement, I will leave you peoples to the rest of your day, because I said I want to just keep you guys hanging here. Shauna says, why couldn't it be how I see it in my head, like going on a date or anything? Oh, I see, I see. So having those kinds of thoughts, I would definitely recommend maybe limiting the why couldn't it be like and then insert, because when you're saying why couldn't it be like and an insert positive thing, you're essentially showing your subconscious mind that it currently isn't, and obviously that re-accentuates it. I would just say, you know what, I'm so happy that it's us going on dates and talking and loving and stuff. Even if you feel a bit delusional in the moment, just say it for a few moments, make yourself feel good, and then move on. You know, it's not got to be something you got to like pay like massive attention toward. Do you just want to stay dominant in that story when it comes up? So if you can kind of catch it every time it comes up and just say, oh, look, things are amazing, and then move on with your day, it's still going to aid it toward the dominancy. But yeah, the questions like, why couldn't it be like this? When's it going to happen? Why couldn't he just do this? And things like that. They're definitely not empowering statements regarding your end result. And I would recommend rethinking kind of how you sort of present yourself in that moment. And then you say, thank you, that helps. You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people have a problem with, essentially, like adding on to what I said a second ago about, because it's such a habit to think negative, most people don't even notice they're doing it. And that's obviously why it accentuates, is I think people are, and this is based on my sort of observation as a coach and someone that's worked with a lot of people over a long period of time. I think people are like somewhat concerned they're going to come across as crazy when they do this work. And I get that. I've been there as well. And that kind of fear of being crazy stops people from going fully into it with the elements of delusion. Like they'll do the affirmations and stuff when they feel good, but when their mind actually comes up, they're like, oh, but it feels stupid because my mind's telling me this. And I was like, if you could literally just tell yourself, you know what, I'm so fucking happy that he's my partner, and then move on with your day. Or I'm so happy we can go on loving dates and then move on with your day. It's going to do well for you. Like I said yesterday in my video, I'll have things where I'm like, why am I even thinking that? Of course they're going to text me later, or of course I'm going to get a new client later, or of course this, of course that. It doesn't hurt me to say. If anything, it only ever benefits me. And I think people need to remember that it's all a benefit. You may feel crazy, it may be tricky, you may feel stupid, you may not fully believe it, it may be all of those kinds of problems. But if you just do it, you'll get the outcome that you desire more so. And if Shauna says, oh, hell no, I'm already crazy, nothing left to lose. Exactly. So throw yourself into it and guarantee that you get everything. And then you said that was a really good video yesterday. Thank you very much. It didn't perform very well, but I'm not concerned with that. As long as it's helped a few people, I'm more than happy if my videos don't do particularly well, because you know that's what I'm here for. I'm not here to, obviously I would like the channel to grow, because you know why wouldn't I, but I'm not here to sort of make sure that every video does so well so that my channel grows. I'm here to make sure that my videos do well enough to help people. And there was a lot of good comments about it in the video sent up. A lot of people found it useful, so I'm happy for that. I'm happy with that. I like doing those kind of videos. I just like doing videos overall, to be fair. I definitely prefer the presentation videos. They're more fun to make, they're more fun to record, and I find the engagement is a lot higher. I mean, it's a little bit hard for me to say for certain, because the presentation ones that I've done on YouTube themselves thus far have all been specific person ones, and obviously they perform way better. And the non-specific person ones have all been on the membership. But like, this is what your person feels when you're firm. 5 days ago, 6,000 views. Um, debunking 3 specific person myths. A month ago, 3,300 views. And there was another one as well. can't remember which one there was. Oh, and in no contact, no problem one, which did exceptionally well, which has 14,000 views from 3 weeks ago. So there's there's videos that do those presentation ones do very well, and I'm not 100% sure if it's the presentation element themselves or whether it's the fact that it's a specific person. It's probably a bit of both. But I do want to do more presentation videos on non-specific person videos just to see if they're helpful. But I definitely do like, and I've said this to Katie numerous times. I definitely do really like doing non-specific person videos as well, because I want to help people with the overall concept as well as other things. You know, there's channels out there, and there's no disrespect to them because obviously they're more than welcome to do it themselves. They're more than welcome to do whatever it is they want. But there's channels out there that literally only make specific person content, and I kind of look at it and I'm like, you know, are you literally just trying to grasp that specific topic so that you can have massive growth? Because, you know, of course, do a video on it here and there. I do fairly regular specific person videos, but I also want to make sure that everyone has that knowledge in an overall aspect. So when they're done manifesting a specific person, they go, oh, I remember Matt said that this is how the mind works. This is what I can do in this moment. This is how I create good affirmations. This is 3 myths that have been debunked. I can use this for money and jobs and so on and so forth. So I do like doing the videos like yesterday where it's just non-specific person related and it's giving you overall stuff. And I definitely want to make some presentation videos about other topics because I think they could be very good. Obviously, I'm just waiting for people to let me know what ideas they have if they do have anything, and I'm just waiting for the time to come to post them. R says, I'm happy giddy in my Delulu AFs. My SP is my wife. Absolutely. Like you need to be, you know, you need to have a good old time when doing them. You need to enjoy yourself because yes, it may be Delulu in the moment, but if you're not enjoying it, you're not going to stay consistent with it. And if you're not going to stay consistent with it, you're not going to get the results. And then if you don't get the results, you're going to assume that it doesn't work. And then it's just going to be a negative spiral. It literally all starts with just having a good time doing it. Same with anything. If you hate something, you're never going to stay consistent with it. So make it as fun and enjoyable and as natural as possible. And you won't even notice that you're doing a process. You won't even notice the work that you're doing. It will just feel amazing. Karen says, I'm experiencing some unfavorable things at work, but I'm not sure if it's part of the unfolding and I should flow or if I should focus on changing the situation. So you should never focus on changing the situation specifically. Now, what I mean by that is if your end result is to have a pay rise, for example, and your situation at work is that you keep hearing from your manager, we just don't have money for a pay rise. Changing the situation in itself, i.e., my manager now says they have enough money for the pay rise, is fruitless because that's not your end result. You'd be better off just going to the end result of having a pay rise and letting everything flow. If it's the bridge of incidents, you're going to get that outcome. If it is just some undesirable circumstances, by continuing to go to the end result anyway, at some appointed time, you will get that desire regardless. So I very rarely recommend changing the situation at hand. Of course, if you're not currently working on the situation and it's just something that's just showing up undesirably and you wish for it to be different, then yeah, of course, start working on a new version. But if you're already kind of working on shifting that stuff by shifting your end result and shifting your focus to the end result and your self-concept and whatever may be involved in that situation, and some unfavorable things happen in the middle, I wouldn't recommend sort of jumping ship to try and change those situations, because if you stay on the course that you're already on, they'll change as a result of it. So obviously, without knowing more about the situation itself, I can't give you more specific advice, but that's my sort of general rule of thumb, is if you're already working on your end result, and if the end result was true, this situation wouldn't exist, just stay on the end result. There's no point you shifting specific things in front of you, because then you get too much into the habit of messing with the middle or exhausting yourself trying to change every little thing in front of you instead of letting your subconscious mind do all of that work for you. So that's kind of an example. I'll give you another example. If I wanted to manifest £10,000 per month, but I was like maybe not having a client one day, and then I start trying to affirm for each individual client until I got to £10,000, I would have been better off both from a mental health perspective and from an exhaustion perspective and from a manifestation perspective if I had just gone, I earn £10,000 per month, instead of like, I got a new client, cool, I got one, and then doing it again and rinse and repeating until I got £10,000 per month. Same end result, but less is more in this kind of instance. Hopefully that helps with your situation. Like I said, I don't know what your situation is, so I can't give you more tailored advice, but hopefully that helps a little bit. Lauren says, I really like the presentation ones too. Yeah, they're fun. I have a lot of fun doing it. The thing that I've found with being a content creator in my field is there's very little to do, in a sense of my videos are pretty much just talking. No one wants crazy edits on a manifestation video. It's not like it's a gaming channel where you've got all of these edits and sound bars and soundtracks and stuff like that. So from an editing perspective, there's not much for me to do. From a talking perspective, there's not much for me to do. From a like actual content itself perspective, there's not much to do. You know, if it was like gym content, for example, I could do like different videos of me doing different exercises. I could do flexing videos. I could do training other people videos. I could do loads of stuff. But with manifestation, it's pretty much just me sitting there talking to you. So as someone who really likes getting his teeth stuck into things, I love budgets because I like building them. I like working out the financials of them. I like investing because I like looking at the graphs. I like seeing how things have gone. I like staking my crypto to see the staking rewards and dividends from stocks, and just being someone that likes projects and likes getting things done. The field that I'm in has very little work that I can actually do. So the presentation videos I absolutely love making because I can actually sit there and make them. I could shut myself in my little mini office room for 2 hours and work on a presentation and think about it and make diagrams and sort of all of that lot. So that's one of the reasons why I really like them, because it actually caters to my way of working more. And of course, they're just very impactful. Every presentation video has always, I'm pretty sure all of my presentation videos on YouTube anyway are like my longest videos because there's so much information there, because I remember it, because I planned it all out and put it on the presentation. And yeah, it's just, I like them a lot too. All of that was to say that. I said your video yesterday really helped me. It maps to everything. Thank you very much. I'm glad it helped you. And yeah, it's such a simple process, but it's one that, you know, is very important. And the inspiration for yesterday's video was actually the client that I'd had in the morning, and she'd said that she was having some troubles with like when these odd thoughts came to mind. And I was like, well, you know, when you're in that situation, just simply stopping yourself for a moment and going like, well, what am I even thinking? Of course, you know, this is going to go my way. Of course, obviously I'm keeping details a bit more private, but of course, XYZ thing has gone my way, because it's not what comes up that matters, it's where you take it. And she was there, she was like, oh my God, I didn't even think about that. And in fact, in her response email to me as well, let me see if I can find it real quick while we're on here. She literally said, is it that one or is it the other one? Oh yeah, she literally said, the conversation we had earlier made me shift back to my peaceful state straight away. And then in quotations, what am I worried about is such a magic phrase. So to me, it's like a very sort of, oh, is that ads? Sorry, I didn't realize there was ads. Usually I skip them. To me, it was a very simple phrase. You know, what am I even thinking about? Of course it's going to go my way. But to her, it was like, and I was like, oh, do people not do that? Like, what do people actually do? And then I realized that actually I hadn't really done a video on that kind of element of what to do in person. I give you guys all of the in-depth kind of analysis of stuff, and I thought actually this would be a great opportunity for me to do that, which is the inspiration for yesterday's video. I do apologize for the adverts. Usually I turn them off. I must have forgotten this time. To be fair, I forgot a couple of things while setting up this live. I actually set it to public initially, and Katie out of nowhere was just like, your live stream's going live to everyone in half an hour. Or she said it's going live to everyone. And I panicked thinking that she meant like right this moment, thinking that I was already live. And then she was like, in half an hour. And I was like, oh, why are you telling me then? Like, sort of, you know, I know, like, silly. And then it clicked in my head that she said everyone and not to members. I was like, oh shit, I need to change that, because I'd put it as public instead of unlisted. So yeah, exactly. Thank goodness for Kate. Yeah, she saves my ass a lot. She does all the thumbnails and stuff. Like, without her, like, I wouldn't be anywhere near as big as I am, because I wouldn't draw anyone's attention. My thumbnails were wank. If you guys see my earlier thumbnails, they were just like a plain background and then like a picture and then like writing. Basically the same as every other LOA coach's thumbnails, to be honest, which I personally, I don't know whether it makes that big of a difference, because it's really hard to tell, but I personally think that my thumbnails are the best in the game, and it's okay either does them. Karen says, your explanation about how manifestation works could be a good video idea. Yeah, did I do one for the members? I don't think I did, or I did it for the course. I think I started it for the course. But yeah, a presentation on how manifestation works would be a very good video, and I'm definitely thinking about doing it soon. I'm working on a Get Your Specific Person course, which is just pure presentation videos of every single topic. At this current moment in time, I think there's going to waste more of your time now while I do this, but I think you guys, most of you would probably be quite happy to know. So 3, 7, 11, 14, 17, 23. So there's 23 modules at present. That may change along the way. So 23 lessons, sorry, should I say. I am currently on lesson 7, and there's 42 slides on this thing. So in theory, if it was to stay at that same sort, well, I'm actually not even done with lesson 7. I'm halfway through lesson 7. So in theory, this course should be a total of 120 slides if it was to stay at that same level, which is, that's a lot. And obviously it's not going to be all in one video because that'd be just way too much. But obviously with courses, you have modules and stuff like that. So, and it's a full Manifest Your Specific Person, and it's going to have everything. So look out for that. But while working on that, I've also started with a how manifestation works thing, and I'll probably bang that out and get that out there soon with a presentation format because I think people like it. We are now visited by a black cat. And she's wet. Oh, I'm gonna get wet now as she sits on me. She has this habit where she does this. She goes outside, gets wet, and then she comes and sits on me to dry off. Does it every time. Get away, cat. Where was I? Sean ears in the camera. Are you gonna walk across? Thanks. Shauna says, I like the presentation videos. I would love to see other stuff besides SP, but my fave is just you being in front of the camera talking. Yeah, there definitely will be other stuff other than Specific Person as well. Like I said earlier, I like to do that content more so. And I do like the sort of sitting in front of the camera just talking, but at the same element, it's one of those things where there's not enough for me to do as a creator, which can be good if I'm trying to sort of get a video out and I'm on a short time scale. But I really like doing stuff that involves getting my sort of teeth sunk into the work a bit more, which is why I like the presentations. But of course, I'm not going to remove one for the other. There's going to be sort of a healthy mixture of both. I'm hoping to do a few more presentations along the way. And of course, I'll continue to do the talking ones. Sean said, thank goodness for Katie. Yeah, absolutely. Karen says, it helps. Thank you. I was just working on my SP manifestation, but things at work became chaotic, like falling apart. Oh, I see what you mean. Then yeah, if you're not already working on it, I would recommend sort of shifting your focus towards something, towards it being in a more ideal time frame, time scale, outcome, whatever kind of things going on. Because yeah, where your focus goes, energy flows. If you're already working on something, stay committed to that end result. If you're not and things start falling apart for whatever reason, I would recommend shifting some of that focus to benefit yourself. I was supposed to be going band tomorrow, but they've rescheduled, which is kind of good, I think, because it gives me tomorrow as well to get on with stuff, because I haven't actually done this week's members only videos, so I need to get on that tomorrow. If anybody has any ideas on what they would want on a members only video tomorrow, both from a self-improvement standpoint but also from a manifestation standpoint, please let me know, because I've been so busy this week that I literally got to yesterday and I was like, oh god, I got members only videos to do as well. So if there's any sort of specific topics that you want to see or that you think other people would want to see, by all means just put them in the chat. I was thinking as well about, if I can, downloading this live stream and editing out all like the sort of chops and cuts and breaks and stuff of like moments when I'm like waiting for answers and stuff, instead of just leaving it up, and make the live streams a little bit smaller, but then it'll also, I think, keep people's watch time a little bit more active. So I'm thinking about doing that. Not that that's really relevant to you guys. It was more just a thought. Trying to fill the silence while there's no questions. It's kind of like when you're interrogated by someone, they deliberately stay quiet for a little minute because people try to fill the silence. So instead of saying like, "Oh yeah, me and my mate were just out," if a copper's looking at them and sort of just sitting there quietly, after a while they'll be like, "And we murdered 10 people." They'll eventually just give themselves away. So I'm pretty much just doing that here to fill the silence between the questions. Someone says manifesting a car, or I have two. They just fix for someone to help fix it. Manifesting a car, or I have two. They just need fixed, so someone to help me fix them. Is that a video topic? Is that what you're recommending, or is that like a question like how can I make that happen? Because if it's a video, like you said, yes, I give you two. I gave two Oh, both. I probably wouldn't do it as a video topic just because that's super like specific, super niche, and I don't know if a lot of the members would particularly need that kind of video. And I don't want to, since people pay for the membership, I don't want to go, here's content that you absolutely won't use because they might not be the biggest fans of it. But in terms of an answer for your question, very similar to what I said earlier on in the live stream when someone asked about moving in. I believe it was Lauren asked about moving in with the person. Yeah, with Lauren asked about moving in with the person. You want to place your awareness on it already being done. So either A, start focusing on having your new car. Every time you get in and out of your car, tell yourself, I remember when I used to have a insert whatever your current car is, but now I have this lovely Audi R8, or I don't know if that's actually a car, but insert your dream car. Anytime that you have your awareness placed on your car, redirect it back to already having. You get in your car, this is my dream car. I love having this Audi R8. I love having whatever it is that you're trying to manifest car wise. And then when you get out, I'm so glad that I got to drive it. And then as you go through your day, if it comes to mind, I'm so happy to have this dream car. Place your awareness on having that car as much as possible. If it's the idea of fixing it, I would say don't focus on the idea of getting someone to help fix it, but focusing on the idea of it already being fixed. So anytime you think of your car, I'm so happy that it's fixed. I'm so happy it was fixed for free or fixed for cheaper than I could have expected. I'm so happy that I can now drive now that it's fixed, or things like that. You want to place your awareness once again on either having your new car or the idea of your car being fixed right now, and that will obviously create that outcome. Very similar to the example of that I gave to Lauren, where it's like you haven't got to look at it as in he's taking the kid to his house and not sharing with you, but instead taking her to the park. He'll be back soon. For an example, with the car thing, it doesn't have to be an element of like, oh, I need a new car because mine's broken. I want a new car because I want a new car, not because I don't currently have a car. You want to shift your focus away from the idea that it's currently broken and onto whatever it is that you want. Says, I printed out a logo of a Corvette and put it into my old van and pretended I was driving the Corvette. It took 10 months. I manifested the Corvette. And then Shauna says, that's awesome. Yeah, I was actually going to say maybe you should ask but I wasn't 100% sure if you would want me to put out your manifestation successes. So I thought I'd leave it. But since you put it out there anyway, yeah, absolutely. Was telling me via email yesterday, I think it was, about his Corvette success. So I would definitely recommend taking some notes because it definitely works. It's the same as like vision boards and stuff like that. KE makes some really cool vision boards. I can't really show you it very well, but I have a vision board on my laptop that she made me. Shauna says, I wish more people would share. Would you mean like successes and stuff? And then R says, thank you, I'm glad to share. It's good. I definitely think people should share more. I have loads of successes and I never really ask to share them. I don't know why. I think the reason why I don't personally like sharing a lot of stuff, even though I know that people do feel empowered when doing so, or when people post, is because it takes up my content spaces when I could be helping. Now, I know that sounds silly and stuff like that, but I like posting videos to give you guys the information so that you can have your own successes, instead of using those spaces to post a video about someone else's success. And then you kind of sit there thinking, well, I still don't have mine, which is why I don't post a lot of successes, which is why I tend to leave my success posts for like advertisements, like, oh, hey, check out my coaching. This is what someone's had with it, or check out this service. This is what someone's had with it. Because I obviously, as the person that's here to help you guys learn what to do and how to navigate through the process, success stories don't really help with that unless the person goes in depth on how they did it. Which, if you've seen my success stories videos in the past, I'll say, this is what we did together. This is where they got there. Because I don't want to just bang off, this person got this thing, this person got this thing, this person got this thing, and actually provide no genuine knowledge value for you. Yeah, it's a confidence boost for a moment, but as soon as you click off that video, you go right back to the way that you were before, worrying about why you don't have it. And I would rather just have you guys click off my video and go, Matthew said use this technique, or Matthew said that this is how the mind works, and it does so. However, having said that, on my Facebook group, there are a lot of people posting successes lately. I don't go into it as much as I would like to because I'm so extremely busy, like just keeping up with clients, videos, and such things like that. But I feel like every time I go into there, someone said, hey, had a success today, and then inserted. So if you want to see more successes on a regular basis, I recommend joining my Facebook community group if you aren't already. It's entirely free. So just, sign up. The only thing that I ask is to not be a be a dick. That's like the only thing, because there are some people that we've had to remove due to problems, not necessarily like because they were being a dick. There's just kind of some issues of like passive aggressiveness and stuff like that. So as long as you're just being nice and respectful for everyone, that's the only requirement for being in the group. Because yeah, it's a place to help everyone learn. And of course, if everyone's going to have their opinions and everyone's going to have their, oh, I don't think you should be doing this, I don't think you should be doing that. But it's a space to be able to voice your opinion without feeling like you're going to get fire from someone else. So as long as you're not providing that fire to anyone, you're more than welcome in the community. Says, I've been looking for this community. I'm glad to be here. I want to share if it will help others and encourage. I think it absolutely would. I know obviously car success stories aren't exactly the hot spot, but any success gives people the hope that they can manifest something, considering the way to manifest one thing is the way to manifest like anything else. So I think it's actually a good idea. The community group is linked in the description. I can also put it here actually real quick, since it's not going to harm me to do so. There you go. It's in the chat. But yeah, I recommend joining it. Drop your success story, give everyone an uplift, and then yeah. Shauna says, to me, me too, but Facebook. So I agree. Initially, our community group was on Discord, but I think a lot of people were struggling with understanding how Discord worked, and therefore there wasn't a lot of engagement on it. And the place where most people do their community groups is Facebook, so that's why I did Facebook. There's not really anywhere else that I could do it, so we're just going to have to kind of deal with Facebook. But yeah, I personally don't really care for Facebook either, but I like the community group, and there's a lot of lovely people in there and a lot of really nice stuff. So I just wish I could be in them more, spend more time. But there's a lot of people with some, huh? Oh yeah, Katie's in there a lot. She answers a lot of questions, and she does most of the moderating and stuff. But there's a lot of people in there that know what they're talking about, and they help quite a lot. So yeah, it's definitely a nice place to be. I couldn't be happier with it. And then Art says, excellent, I need to join in there. Yeah, absolutely. You're more than welcome. One thing that I wanted to do, and the inspiration for this comes from one of my sort of favorite self-improvement people, but he has this thing called the New Elite. And it's essentially, it's a little bit different to what I would do for very obvious reasons, but he's essentially a guy that I think he lives in Dubai now, or is it Thailand? No, I think it's Thailand actually. And he essentially has like a group of people that mostly sort of single men, to be honest, because obviously you would need that freedom, that go and basically stay in villas and stuff near him, and they get together as a group. They hit the gym together. They deal with each other on a daily basis. They work together and stuff like that on their own projects, like in the general vicinity. And it essentially just is a mentor in person. And I'd love to have something like that, not in person, because obviously with the kids and stuff, it's not feasible, but an idea of like an actual group that is like an elite members kind of group sort of thing, where it's like where I always am in, like, as obviously unless I'm in video calls, I'm there ready to answer questions and stuff like that, and have it as more of like an elite access me anytime kind of thing, indefinitely, which I suppose would be considered very similar to email coaching, but in my head, I picture it as something different, I don't know, more things involved, I suppose, but I need to work out the logistics of doing something like that, because I like having the idea of like a really tight knit community of just people that are like really ready to grind it out and do what needs to be done in order to get their desires and improve more. That's one of the other things as well that I'm wishing. I say I'm wishing. Obviously, I know it's all my awareness. I'm speaking from this perspective as someone who hasn't bothered to change his awareness. But I wish there was more appeal for self-improvement in the manifestation community. I hear so many people trying to avoid self-concept work because they're concerned that they're not going to get this specific person, and they're not going to get this whatever it is that they want. So they'll avoid working on themselves in order to do this. And that grates on me so much, because this is like your only life. You need to become the best version that you can. And I still have a long way to go until I'm the best version of me. But at least I still do try to exercise regularly. I still do work on a business. I still do all the additional things. And I wish there was more people in the manifestation community that are like, hey, I want to manifest my specific person, but because you've built a business, is there any advice you could give me on building a business while I manifest my specific person? Or hey, you know what, I see that you really like to go gym. Could I possibly send you daily videos of me doing a gym thing, and you can sort of, just give me an uplift or something like. I just wish there was a little bit more of that kind of attitude in the manifestation community, because what I found, and this is me just sort of ranting more than anything right now, to be honest. So tell me to shut up if you don't want to hear it. But what I found is that being able to make things come via the power of your mind has made people quite lazy. And a lot of people that I've spoken to are like, oh, why should I go gym and improve myself when I can affirm that they come to me? You're absolutely right. You can, but why would you not want to? Why would you not want to become the best version of yourself? Why would you not want to have that like excess income through a business that you built from the ground up? Like stuff like that. It just, I don't know what that is. It's a little bit of dust or something. Just one of those kind of little things. So when I think of that, like tight knit, the new elite, obviously that's his thing. I'm not going to steal the name of it, but like my version of the new elite, I picture in my head just people that I'm in a group chat with, maybe 6 or 7 people, and someone's like, "Oh, hey, I had my first sale today, and while I was affirming for my specific person, and I hit this gym PR, and it makes me feel so good." That kind of thing, just a group of really close people trying to improve every area of their life, and that's kind of like what I think in my head. That's like what I picture of like my version of the new elite. But we'll see. Maybe I'll do something like that. I don't know how I'll do it, because I think the thing that makes the new elite thing so impactful is that they're in person. They're all sat around the desk. They're all sort of they're all like working at a desk on their own projects, or all hitting the gym together and stuff like that. It just sounds like basically just a boys' night, yeah, boys' day kind of thing, like a bunch of lads. I think that's what I need. I need friends. Shauna says, "Did you used to smoke cigarettes? I remember a video in which you quit a bunch of stuff. How did you do that? I love the idea of what you're talking about." No, I have smoked a cigarette in the past, and I sort of did a little bit when I was younger, like 2 or 3. But no, I've never actively smoked. So things that I've quit are adult content, for example. Just like pretty much every guy on this planet, I've found myself in that trap as a teenager, and that's one of the things that I managed to quit. I managed to quit a lot of like bad anger habits, I suppose you could say. Um, just general things like that, sort of some personality traits I managed to quit. Try not to say too much, because obviously some things are best left off camera, but off the internet, shall I say. But yeah, I managed to quit quite a lot of like bad habits and anger issues and stuff like that. Overcome is probably a better word than quit, but yeah, that's mostly what I've dealt with. But no, cigarettes was never one of them. I could never see the appeal for cigarettes in the first place. I did it when I was a kid, and when I say I was a kid, I literally mean a kid. I was like 13 years old, because I thought it was cool. But then when I was like, this is actually tastes grim, and I just got a very light head, I was like, well, what's the point? Why do people enjoy this? And then I just never found myself struggling with it. But how did I do it for the things that I quit? So the first thing that I did was I had a goal in mind. So with anything that you do, and this will probably be one of the last things that I answer just because of time stuff, but with anything that you're trying to quit or become, there's always a reason to it. When trying to quit, like let's use the example of drinking. That's not something that I quit, but I'm just going to use it as the example because I think a lot of people have that with think drinking. It's very costly. It's not good for your health. It gives you headaches if you get like if you're hangover and stuff like that. So it makes like the day after worse. It can make some people violent. It can make you bloated and fat. Like those are just 5 things off the top of my head that drinking could do. So in my head, what I would do if I'm trying to quit something negative is I'll look at what it would do for me. So, oh, hey, I feel a bit bloated and fat right now. If I was to quit drinking, I would find it easier to lose that weight, and then I would look better. I'd have more money in my pocket, so I could go out and go on holiday more, or I could go and do this more. I can go do that more. I wouldn't run the risk of coming home and being violent to anyone because obviously some people when they drink do so. I wouldn't have to run the risk of that ever happening. And I would tell myself all of the positives. And anytime I would feel the urge to engage in whatever vice it is, I would stop and think like, okay, if I go down this route, this is what I would do. I would become violent. I'd get bloated. I would do whatever. But if I managed to just say no, this is what I would get. And I think, oh, well, the money I'd save, I'd be able to, finally get that new light bulb for the house. Start small, new light bulb for the house. And then over time, if I haven't drunk for a whole month, oh, wow, I can actually pay for like the down payment on a holiday. An example, obviously, this probably the numbers are inaccurate here, but you get what I mean. You can look at the differences, and then being able to just have the discipline to say no just the first few times. Because the thing with habits and the thing with addiction and stuff like that is it's so hard to overcome those first few times, which is why we need to show our mind something positive to latch onto. But once you do finally break that habit a few times, it becomes so much easier and then easier and then easier until eventually you don't have the habit whatsoever, or at least like it's very, very minimal. It's only those first few times that it's so hard because obviously the craving is so high, and that's why most people give in. But if you can just break through that first week, that first couple of weeks, pretty much just smooth sailing after that. That's what I found with the things that I was addicted to, or the habits and the personality traits that I needed to work on. And they say, I love the idea of what you're talking about. I do too. I do too. But like I said, it's been kind of hard. In my entire time as a manifestation coach, I think I've only had about 4 people that have been trying to manifest and trying to genuinely work on themselves that they've asked me for advice on. Like, oh, hey, I go gym. Is there any kind of tips that you could give me? Or I really want to work on confidence, but I want to do more than just affirm for confidence. What could I do? And that's why I haven't really actually looked into this idea of doing my own version of the new elite group. So yeah, but I would definitely love to do something like that. Shauna says, I quit for 3 years and started again, and now I'm struggling with quitting again. If you did it once, you could do it again. And I definitely would recommend like absorbing some of that power that you had from the first time. What did you do that first time? Is there any ways that you could do it again? Or kind of like finding new ways to navigate through it this time if you're struggling with the same things. Like I said, latching onto something positive, considering the worst case scenarios if you were to go down it, consider the best case scenarios if you weren't to go down it. Show your mind something else to latch onto, and it will begin to do so. But thank you everyone so much for showing up to today. I do very much appreciate you all being here. I am going to jump off now because the hour is up and I need to go sort of make my own food and stuff like that. Oh, you say, and that's the problem. I used Chantix. I'm not 100% sure what that is, so I can't really give any feedback on that. But thank you all so much for showing up to today. Of course, oh sorry. Of course, if you need any of my additional help, check out the. So I'm trying to be quiet now because the baby's like waking up. You say thank you so much for having a wonderful. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. You too. Thank you everyone else for being here. And I'm just going to end this off here before I wake the baby up. So thank you very much. Bye bye.